Hello all, Jamie Rodgers here, and today we are going to play around with some of our sparkle glaze to create an incredible DL card that's really simple and easy to do. We're going to be using different components from the brand new Fairy Wishes collection. We have our Starry Angela Fairy in here, we've got our Decal Blossom flowers, we've got our Get Well Soon sentiment, and we've got one of the sentiment panels as well. Now, to create this card, what we're going to do first of all is we're going to bring in a piece of our bright white cardstock, and we're going to bring in a stencil. Now, I'm actually going to change up what I've done on this one, and instead we're going to use one of the new Blossoming Branches stencils, again from the Fairy Wishes collection. I'm going to use some of our Woodware stencil tape. This is brilliant stencil tape. It genuinely does hold the stencil down in place while we're working on it, but it's not so sticky or attached that it will damage the fibres in the card when we come to remove it. But yet we can still reuse it a couple of times before we need to replace it. Now, with our sparkle glazes, you may have already seen the introduction video to this collection, but there is actually 6 different colours. There's also a pink and a lovely honeydew as well. So let's actually, because I was planning on using the Icy Smoke, but let's instead go for Mint Whisper, because that's nice to see a different shade, isn't it? So we're going to use this one, we're going to use a palette knife, and we're going to go across the top of the stencil. So let's reveal the product. Oh, look at that. Isn't that good? It looks a little bit like yoghurt to me, which I'm sure I shouldn't say. And I certainly wouldn't encourage you to taste it, but it does just look lovely and creamy. Now, when we use this product, when you start off with it in this format, you're not going to see much glitter on here, to be honest with you, because of the medium that holds the glitter in place and brings us the colour is quite cloudy. But actually, when it dries, in about half hour, you'll find that the glitter really comes through, and that encapsulated glitter will shine through on all different levels and give you the most beautiful finish. So we're just going to carry this on. Now, on the launch video for the Fairy Wishes collection, I show you actually how you could blend your colours, and that's quite nice to know. So if you haven't seen the launch video, do go check that one out and have a little look at how you can be blending your shades, especially with all 6 of these, to create some really cool backgrounds. But actually just using one shade is pretty cool as well. So pop your palette knife into some water. We don't want that to get sort of stuck on there. It is a gluey based medium, and the last thing we need is for that to become adhered to the palette knife for life. So a little bit of water will take that away. As I say, water-based product is great because it means that we can mix it with water and paint with it, and we can sort of dilute it down if we wish to for different reasons. This is also a good sparkle glaze for mixing in other products as well. So you might wish to add more glitters to it, or maybe things like pixie sparkles, pixie powders, bits like that. Now, as I mentioned, at this stage, all you're going to pretty much see is the colour, but when it dries, that's when the glitter comes in to its own, and we will see that glittery effect take place. So I'll pop that one off to one side for a second, and I'll share with you this one here. Now, because we're doing a DL card, I went for one of our DL stencils instead. Now, there are many different DL stencils available from Creative Expressions. This is just one of my favourites, but you will notice it's actually different to the one that I've used on the original card. So it's down to you which one you go for. But this sort of pattern I felt was quite nice. I like the sort of circular or oval feel to it. It's going to match in quite nicely with the ovals that we put on the top of it. And it's quite a soft pattern to work with the flowers and delicate parts of the actual card. So bringing in the card blank, I've gone for some of our lovely blue card. This is our foundations card that I've used in the background here. And I'm trying to remember, I think this one might be the baby blue shade, but have a little look. There are so many shades of foundations card, and my memory certainly isn't what it used to be. But you could certainly tie it in with the Icy Smoke of the sparkle glaze very easily. So we're going to add on our panel, so that is then ready to build up on top of. And we're going to bring in a couple of little pieces. Now, on your screen, you will see these appear so that you can see the different dies you're going to need. But these are ovals from my dies that I already released. We're going to be looking at 2 different ovals. We've got one from the oval love heart frame, and we've got one from the butterfly and flowers frame. We've got a pierced oval, and we've got a decal edge oval. And I think this is lovely because if you do happen to have both sets of them, they work together perfectly. It'll give you a nice thin edge with a little bit of a pierced side to it, and you've got that lovely softness of the decal. And the decal is quite important because you're going to notice I've got quite a few decal edges running through my collections now. whether it's with the Moroccan panels or the decal edges that run around like the frames we was just talking about, or of course the decal edges that run on the flowers. That decal carries on through a lot of the things I like to work with because I just find it quite a soft, nice finish. So to carry on, we're going to add on our Get Well Soon on our sentiment panel, and I've already gone ahead and glued this down just for speed. You don't want to watch me sticking bits, do you? But it's nice to see that lovely font working playfully in the sentiment panel down the bottom here. Then on to our fairies. Now, there are 4 different fairies that we could play with and place on this card. We have got Starry Angela, which is the one I'm going to be using. This one is the perfect size to go on this card. And as you can see, comes with these lovely little stars. We've also got the Make-A-Wish sentiment. Then you've also got the inserts for the stars as well. And of course, you've got the separate wand. And it's quite nice to have the wand as a separate because you might choose to put different things in it. For instance, the original Fairy Wishes die comes holding a flower. You might choose to put that in her hand instead, or this die actually comes with a watering can, and you could place the watering can in Angela's hands instead. So many different ways you can play around between the fairies. As I say, there is 4. We have Fairy Wishes, the original. We have got Starry Angela, the one we're using at the moment. We then have Moonlit Phoebe, which comes with her own sort of crescent moon for her to sit on, or a toadstool. And then we have Fluttering Ivy. Now then, onto the flowers. Now, I love my flowers, and this one is no exception. This is my deckled edged blossom flower. In here, we have 7 different dies, and that means we've got these lovely big connected branches, which are really easy to form, and you've got them in a left and a right side. So if you want to turn them into corners, borders, banners, you know, you've got that bit to sort of build around and put your flowers onto. I would also always encourage you to use my other blossoms flowers. We've got a daisy blossom, we've got a cherry blossom, intermatch the leaves or the flower heads to create your own unique sets. It really does look lovely, and they will all work across the board. Then with your actual flowers, we've got 4 different sizes of flowers, and we've got the flower heads too, so we can build these up as we wish to. Now, I've gone for the same shade of foundations card, and I've cut these out, and all I'm going to do is bring in a bone folder. I'm going to hold on to the petal at the base of it, and I'm just going to round each of my petals. And this is the easiest way I find to shape any flower. Now, there are many different ways in which you can shape your flowers. You'll see on other videos that I'm doing that you can sort of twist across them with tweezers and shape them. You can use your tweezers and fold back on each level or bring forward, and it's just a really nice way for you to actually play around with these and build them up. These leaves or petals do actually have their own little score lines in the middle of them, so when it comes to shaping them, it's quite easy to do because that will help form your card. We can then just layer these as we wish to, and because we've got different size petals and they go off in different directions, it's quite easy to get some really different formations of flowers even using the same flower heads. So do play around with that and see what you can create, but I promise you they will look beautiful no matter how you shape them and what levels you use. They're beautiful flowers. I've gone ahead and I've added the little middles into the flowers, and I've added some pearls in there as well. And we're going to bring these in and we're going to place them down, just coming around the side here. We might bring them slightly further down there. We might actually move Angela over slightly. Let's move her more into the middle. I was going for one side, but I think she might look slightly better off on the edge there. This is the joy of the woodwear foam tape. You've got that time before it sets to play around with it and move it slightly if you wish to. Then onto our leaves. I'm going to shape these just slightly around my fingers just to give them a little bit of form, nothing too much. I'm going to add on a bit of glue to the reverse here, again using our Cosmic Shimmer Dries Clear Glue, and we're going to post these just coming out from underneath there. We're then going to take another one of the branches and we're going to place this one coming up the card as well. So we're going to tuck that one just under there, and we're going to bring Angela's wings forward because she's the star of the show. We don't want her to be too hidden. Now, I don't like the fact here that I've gone slightly off the edges with these leaves, because when it comes to putting them into an envelope, that's going to be in the way. So just in case it is a card you're going to send, let's take this part off, and we're just going to pull that part away. You could, of course, trim it with scissors if you wish. I'm never very neat when it comes to crafting, and we're going to go for them 3 pieces instead. And this is the nice bit about having leaves like this. It's down to how much or how little of them you would like to use. Although it's a bigger branch, doesn't mean we have to use all of it all of the time. And that completes our card. As I said, nice, quick, simple card created with our sparkle glazes, bringing in our Fairy Wishes dies, using our decal blossom flowers, and adding on a little sentiment. And it doesn't matter which stencil you're working with, they're going to look beautiful. and it isn't that easy. I hope you've enjoyed today's video, and if you haven't watched the introduction to the Fairy Wishes collection yet, please do go and have a little watch of it. You'll see more cards, more samples, more dies, and of course more inspiration to give you some ideas, and actually a little demo using a few of the colours of the sparkle glaze to make that really cool rainbow style stencil effect I mentioned earlier. Thanks a lot for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon. Bye for now.